Jersey Baseball Show. Today, we welcome in one of the top pitchers in New Jersey, one of the top pitchers in the country. We go down the shore to welcome in Charlie Jones, the outstanding right-handed pitcher from Rumson-Fair Haven. Thank you for coming on, Charlie.
Absolutely, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, let's go right to it then, and tell us the story about Wake Forest, because I know that's you are a Wake Forest signee. Got your everything kind of settled in this past summer, and I want you to tell us that story, but also tell us from the sense of this was probably 17, 18 years in the making, even though you probably didn't know it or appreciate it or understand it back then, right?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I lived there for about 6 years. Probably lived 5 minutes off campus, and I got cousins, family down there, so I spent some Thanksgiving, some Christmases down there. So it's really cool being able to, talk to my family down there. My grandpa's at every baseball game he can go to, giving me feedback. So it's pretty cool, a little bit crazy, but definitely very cool. And the recruiting side of that is, I was committed to William & Mary the year before. It was a tough commitment just because, I'm not trying to speak down on William or anything. The coaches ended up leaving. The head coach left, I think, 3 days after I decommitted, and the pitching coach and the head recruiting coordinator, the guy I talked to the most, was out. Unfortunately, I was not told he was leaving, but we don't. That's for another time. But he left around December, so I committed to William & Mary that August in 2020. So he was out before 2021. So it was a little rough, and then ended up decommitting down at WWBA in Georgia over the summer. And at some point, I think early August, I think like August 1st or 2nd, I got a call from, it was actually a 908 number, Ty Blankmore. So, I thought it was just some scammer, kind of answered it, like, hey, how you doing? Because I was sitting in my bed, not thinking anything of it. And he was like, hi, I'm Ty Blankmore with Wake Forest. I immediately perked up. I was like, how are you doing? Like, I was all excited, and he wanted me to come out of this camp because when Moose left Maryland, I guess I was on one of his lists. So he was still looking for some recruits for the Wake 22 class. And so I went down to that camp. I did my thing and ended up getting that offer. And, not a lot of thought goes behind that just because of, the players they make, the lab they have. I mean, it checks just about every single box. And for my dad, especially the academic side of things, great school. So, just committed next day. I think it was around August 11th, and, I haven't looked back. I've been really excited, and definitely getting to know some of the other recruits, and even, some of the 23s, 24s, and 25s. It's very cool.
Yeah, they're crushing it. They're having a great year. They're certainly crushing recruiting. I take it you were down in and got to check out the new kind of biometrics pitching lab they got there. What do you think?
It's words cannot describe it almost. It's something else. It's one of one. Really, they have all these biomechanists from Wake hospitals looking at it. All these guys that, they could see the smallest thing and be like, you fix that, you gain 2 miles per hour on your fastball. It's just like, wow. So it's really cool. I haven't gotten to use it necessarily yet, but I've seen it in use, and it's unbelievable what it sees and how slow and what it tracks. So it's really something else. And I know I look forward, and I can just only imagine how much that not only me, but just the guys in my class as well can benefit from using something like that to see every single motion, every single piece of the motion. So it's second to none. It's really cool.
Yep. And you'll be, as you mentioned him briefly in your response there, Coach Moose, Coach Corey Mascara, one of our favorite guests that we've ever had on. Crazy and in a good way personality, right? It seems like, from what I can tell from both of you, that's definitely a personality mesh as far as competitiveness and drive and things like that, right? So what's your experiences with him?
I love the guy. He is weird. He's a little crazy, and he's a winner. And that's just, I mean, that's every component you need to a great pitching coach. He looks at everything as far as breathing to ankle mobility to how your hips are looking. He sees the big, the small, and at the end of the day, he's someone where I'm just like him in the sense that I don't care how many kids I strike out. I don't care what my stat line looks at the end of the day. As long as we win, we win. And so he's someone very similar in that nature. He just wants to compete, and I'm really looking forward to getting down there and, working with him more, just because I think he's going to bring the best out of me as a pitcher and as a person, as a player. So it's going to be really interesting. Yep.
Let's go!
Now you've kind of got a reputation for going after or going against and standing toe to toe with some of the best, not just in the shore over the last couple of years, but beyond. I mean, when you look at facing off against Shane Panzini and kind of going to a draw and taking that one into extra innings, or Matt Potok, who's having a great first year down at Coastal, and even when you look at this year, like an AJ Gracia with Ranny, you really get up for those big games. And I mean, is that kind of like bring out the competitor in you too?
Absolutely. It makes me almost more angry that I'm playing a guy like that, just because I'm like, what does he have that I don't, I mean, he could throw 95, and I understand that's, quite a difference from my fastball, but I'm like, I can make kids look just as foolish as this guy. So I just want to, not only put my name out there, but RFH as a school and as a baseball program, just, let people know that RFH baseball is here. Like it was lacking the last couple of years, but we're here and we're ready to show that. I mean, rankings mean nothing. Obviously at the end of the year, you need some hardware, so a couple banners, but rankings are online right now. So yeah. So being able to and having the opportunity to throw guys like Panzini and Potok, and especially Panzini, just because I talked to him a little bit after, and he gave me some feedback on stuff that I might need to work on, or stuff that he's done over the years. So it's really cool from that perspective as well, just getting to learn from these guys. And they're all super nice guys off the field. On the field, they're competitors, just same as me. So it's very cool, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to throw against those kind of guys.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the school itself, because RFH, you got yourself a ring in the winter, although it might not be quite the same role that you have on the baseball team. Certainly, on the for basketball state title. Rumson's had a great run, not just certainly in baseball, but in so many sports. What's that like for someone who's as competitive as you, to have so many great teams at the school? And what kind of environment does that make?
It's awesome. It really is. It's so special having guys like Scott Messi and Colin Kennedy's, just guys that work super hard at what they do, and it's paying off, whether it's winning a ring for the States, or Colin Kennedy's going to Villanova to play football. So it's that kind of stuff where it both, like, you talk a little trash, just get the competitive juices flowing, because, I want the baseball team to outperform the football team, outperform the basketball team. But, all these guys, they're looking to make their sport the best sport we had all year. So it's interesting to see, like, how and also just how, like, other schools look at us. It sounds mean, but it's like, being from RFH, you got a target on your back already, just because of how good we've been at football, how good we've been at basketball. our hockey team and our lacrosse team is getting there. Our girls sports are, leading the shore in almost every category. It's like, people want to beat RFH, and it makes me so happy for that, because that just makes me want to compete even more. So being from a school like that it just makes you so much more competitive. But it also makes it makes you work harder, just because you're surrounded by guys that go to certain people, where like a place like Thrive Sports, where I go and get rehab from. I recommend that to not just baseball players, but it's about every sport, because I believe that taking care of your body and using acupuncture and cupping and cryotherapy, that kind of stuff, can really help. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely very cool being from a school like RFH.
So tell us about the rest of the pitching staff here. We'll let you shout out your other pitchers, because people have you guys ranked where you are as far as pretty much across the board as the top public school baseball wise, is the pitching being kind of the separator.
Yeah, and I think it all stems from, again, just competitiveness. It's not necessarily, I could look at the pitchers behind me and myself, and I could definitely say, hey, like, you look at the numbers these other guys have, and there are definitely other pitching rotations in the state that look better on paper. But as far as competitiveness, we have a group of guys that is certainly special. You got Johnny Goods going to Rutgers. He's been unbelievable for us this year, and last year as a closer too. He stepped up big time, and he's been something essential in being a winning program. You got Jackson Hinchcliffe. He's a guy that's definitely going D1, super good academically, so we might be looking at some Ivies there. But he's a guy that last year as a starter for us was just mean. He's competitive. He's grunting on 0-2 fastballs. He wants to make you look stupid. He go out there and compete. So it's really cool having those two guys with me, and then even more guys like Matt Bruno, who's a Niner, and he's been very good for us out of the bullpen this year. And I think at most any other school, he's a third guy or second guy in a rotation, potentially even their ace. But just out of what we have at our school, we're so fortunate in that he can be a bullpen guy for us, some guy that if we need him to come finish a game, I'm looking right for Matt Bruno, because he's a guy that throws a hard fastball and has a pretty good curveball changeup mix with that. And then you got another guy like Jackson Gallagher, who's a sophomore. Not many people know about Gallagher yet, but he's a long lefty, and he's just got he didn't play baseball for a couple of years. He started getting back into it for high school, and now it's the sport. He's traveling all over for it. So he's a guy I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up going at college, because I think it's next year, and especially his senior year, he's going to step it up and be another top guy in the state. That's from the left side especially. I wish I was a lefty, because it's I don't want to say easier, but it is. And he throws hard, and he competes as well. So he's another guy I look forward to seeing, but some guy I'm grateful that I have behind me. And then finally, I'll just shout out Cal Shampo, has been unbelievable for us as strictly a closer this year. Some guy, just a seventh inning guy, comes out. He actually throws, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but other teams that'll see him will realize, is that he's mostly, I'm not sure if necessarily it's a curveball or slider, but he's like me, where he throws that pitch almost more than his fastball. But he just gets outs, he gets swings and misses, he gets guys to roll over, and he's done a really good job of being that seventh inning guy for us this year.
Now, last year, great regular season, fall short in states in a marathon game to Voorhees, which ultimately won the state title. You had to see them go on to win states. With so many guys returning from that team, did that drive you, or does that help drive you at all through this year to know that, ultimately that's going to be the goal?
100%. And something that, I kind of looked at was that it's a completely change of mentality as well. Last year, it was, back against the wall, we got nothing to lose. We came to the season unranked, started off by beating a pretty good Wall team. I think they were ranked 7th at the time. And so, as soon as we won that game, it's almost like, hey, like, we should be ranked. And from that point on, for the rest of that year, it was, competing to get a higher rank, and just winning the division as well is something that we always have our minds on. But, this year coming a little differently, it's, now you've got a target on your back. Last year we beat some good teams, some good pitchers, fell short in states and in short conference as well. Ended up winning the Monmouth County, which was nice, but it's coming with the mentality that we're going to get every team's ace, and we're going to get all every batter's going to especially the night before, they're going to be looking, they're going to be like, all right, whether it's me or Goodsy, they're going to know, hey, he has some run on his fastball, or hey, he throws a curveball just as much as he throws a fastball. So we're getting everyone's best stuff, and it's something that we as a team kind of we didn't shy to that. We didn't back down. We're looking for every team's best. We almost take like offense to it. If we don't see someone's ace, we're like, why aren't we seeing that guy? So it's definitely been a change mentality. But as far as going out, it's my senior year. It's guys that I've been playing with since all-star baseball in 7th grade, and even before then, some of my Rumson guys I've been playing with since 3rd grade, 2nd grade. So it's very cool. It's a great senior class. It's a great junior class as well. And, it's a bunch of guys that just want to go out there and win. And in the end of it, have a ring to show what we did. So I know that's the end goal, obviously, but, we're all competitive guys, and we just want to win.
So something interesting you were mentioning before we came on, I mean, you grew up down in the Carolinas, but when you moved back into where your dad grew up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So my dad, he went to Rumson Country Day School. I'm currently in the house that he grew up in, which is pretty cool. So it's really special, and especially because my grandparents are here for half the year. So getting good quality time with them is something I love. I drive my grandpa around as much as I can because, he's someone that it just helps me become a better person and someone that I really look up to. So it's really cool having them around. And, my dad has some old friends here that he grew up with. So even my dad is, you can see he's enjoying his time with his friends, and it's nice. I love being here. It's a great town, great people. So I couldn't be happier.
So when you do leave, obviously you're going back to where you were born, which is kind of cool, but what are you going to miss most about Central Jersey, about Rumson, or about down the shore?
I know I'm supposed to say my friends, but bagels is right up there with them. I would say, I'm going to miss and pork roll too. It's tough, but yeah, I would say definitely my friends,
and
people
pork roll.
and pork roll and bagels. But I mean, they have bagels. It's just that, lesser.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They got something they call that, but it's not. So that's a pretty good top 3, right? And no particular order: friends, bagels, and what did we say the third one was?
Pork roll. But I might throw pizza up there too. Jersey also has an unbelievable pizza, so I would say that's probably as good as pork roll to me, if not a little better. So yeah, but I definitely put my friends first. I have a great group of guys around me, and I love them all. They're fantastic people. And what I love about them most is they want the best for me. Whether they end up going out and they're not pressuring me to go out or anything. They want me to have a good time. They understand, like, this guy's he has a little bit of a different path ahead of him. He's working really hard to accomplish big goals, not only for RFH baseball, but to get to Wake Forest. So they're guys that will hang out with me whenever I need someone to relax with, to talk to. I have a very close group of friends, and they're all very special to me. I'm going to miss them a lot. I know that. And, so I enjoy the time I have with them. And, though it's getting shorter and shorter by the day, I just, enjoy while I can.
Yeah. What do we enjoy away from baseball or away from sports, if there is any free time?
I'm a big movie guy. huge movie guy. I wrote for Wake Forest. When we filled out the application, we made a top 10 list, and I did movies. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember the list. I can tell you that Shawshank Redemption is the best movie ever made, no doubt in my mind. And yeah, big movie guy, and I'm a somewhat avid golfer as well. I'm not the best, but my grandpa's a big golfer, so I go out with him every now and then, and he teaches me a thing or two. And sometimes it comes in handy if my friend wants to put a couple down on a hole, and I can, yeah. So.
Yeah. And the competitor comes out too, and you can get in their head, right?
Oh yeah, huge. And golf is very similar in the sense that there's a lot of a mental aspect to it too. It's very similar to baseball. So there's a little bit of talking that goes on in those select holes. So I do what I can.
Ball's just sitting there taunting you. It's not moving. It should be a lot easier than it is, but
it's really not. And I have an immense amount of respect for those that can, form shots, hit draws, hit fades. So it's golf is one of the sports that you hate it. I mean, you knock it, you say it's not a real sport, and then you actually go out and play it. And you're like,
to it.
Yeah, you hit a ball and it just doesn't go straight. It probably doesn't leave the ground. And you're like, wow, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, you're right on golf. You're right on Shawshank. You're right on bagels and pork rolls. So gotta say you're pretty much right on all the important stuff.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate the time. It should be, like you said, a great season for RFH. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch you guys go through the short conference tournament, the regular season, and into in the States. It's be a crazy Group 2 tournament. There's a lot of jacked up teams in Central Jersey this year. Having Wall thrown into the mix makes it even more fun, I'm sure.
Yes. That the idea that, we have a game scheduled them at the end of the season. I'm not sure how that lines up with my pitching, but, I hope to face Fish once, just because, I played with him a little bit this fall in one of the tournaments. I went down to Florida, and I don't think I've ever seen a kid offensively as powerful as he is. So, I want to and I've talked to him a little bit about it. I let him know, I said, hey, I'm going to throw curveballs at you, not because I'm scared, but because that's just who I am. I want him to know that he's going to get my best stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to get his. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that might be a matchup we see in different uniforms down the road, right?
Yes, it is. Hopefully. Yeah, it'd be really cool. It'd be really cool.
Little ACC showdown.
Yeah, maybe Gracia gets down there too. We
right.
can make it really interesting.
Right. Make it a little short conference reunion.
Oh, yeah. I would love that.
Well, we appreciate the time, Charlie. Again, Charlie Jones, our guest today, one of the top players, top pitchers in New Jersey. And, again, best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.